What happens when we get too many Nikon cameras? um, Shoo, I don't know why I have two of these beasts. Why do I have two Nikon D500s? Oh, yeah, I can't remember. Right now, the Nikon D500 is averaging used, average. I see several of them for $1,300. Averaging used $1,500. This one has a vertical grip on it. By the way, everybody has a circular viewfinder on their Nikon should think about buying the DK17 extended view piece. This is a 1.2 magnifier. It's made by Nikon, by the way. It's like $37. Nikon D500 is still as epic as it ever was, other than the Fujifilm X-T2. Yeah, I know it's a completely different system. Chill the hell out. Nikon D500 is my favorite camera of all time. All my videos, including this video right now, is being filmed on the Nikon D500. And D500 obviously is no masterpiece for video, but I'm not a video guy. I don't need fast autofocus when I'm sitting at this bloody desk, so it is far, far more than sufficient. Actually, the video of the Nikon D500 is really, really good. The only thing is that I make so many videos, I actually downscale the images with an MPEG-4 video converter, so the video output is actually a lot better than it's capable of from the videos that I upload, which are 720p. Does anybody need to see my ugly face in more than 720p? Do you need to see me in 1080p to get my point across? Do you need to see my ugly face in 4K to get my point across? Everybody's filming everything in 4K. You know, I don't want to sit there for 1,000 years uploading a 4K video. Back to the Nikon D500. As epic as ever until Nikon is not going to roll out anything new until next year. They're going to announce it this year, which will be, of course, their mirrorless full-frame camera. Oh, great. The Nikon D500, nothing, even when that happens, it's not going to change anything about the nature of the Nikon D500. And so far as the best value, now, actually the best value Nikon right now would be a used Nikon D700, not D700, excuse me, also an excellent camera, D7200. I spoke too soon, my mind thinks about 1,000 things at once. D7200. Best buy currently as far as getting a used one, average between, you know, right around $700. But for twice that is a Nikon D500, worth it? Yeah, for ripping off that buffer it is. For sports action, wildlife, night shots, event photography, photojournalism, I mean the D500 is just the epic tits. I love the Nikon D500. As far as Nikon alone goes, I mean it's my favorite all-around do-everything damn camera. The Nikon D500 only, and of course you sit there and drop it like it's hot until the SD card and the XQD card are full. The only downside the Nikon D500 has, kind of like a nocturnal animal, is that it's fast to blow out specular highlights. The dynamic range is not incredible. But the output on the D500 is absolutely incredible. God, I love the Nikon D500. You all got a deal on the vertical grip. I didn't. I had to pay full price. There was a deal there, and I kept missing it, where if you bought the camera, you got the grip for free. I never got, since I had, and I was the first person in the world to review this camera on YouTube. And everybody said I was full of crap. Yeah. It's like, no, $2,000 for a crop sensor camera. It's like, no, you don't understand. Nikon is going to sell the piss out of this camera, and Nikon is still selling the piss out of the Nikon D500. Other than the D500 and the D7200, the only cameras that I recommend, by the way, I've got two of these. It's still a horrible value. I love this camera to death. I mean, it's got incredible dynamic range. Dynamic range that's kind of like that fold-out centerfold. You know when you're a teenager and you open up the Playboy magazine and the centerfold. If the dynamic range is like that, you know, when it folds out and you go, wow, look at that. Dynamic range for miles and miles. The only problem is the average price on a good used one of these, I remember new is $6,500, but a good used one is still $2,200 average. So I can't recommend that. I mean, for $2,200 you can get yourself a Nikon D500. The only thing the D4 has over the Nikon D500 is that dynamic range where you're not clipping the speculars. You know, obviously it's a full frame, so it's better for portraiture. The straight out of camera is superior on the Nikon D4. I mean, there's just, wow, the D4 is just, it's legendary output. There's two cameras that have legendary output, well, really three. Nikon D700, Nikon D4, and the Nikon D850. If I had no Nikon today, knowing what I know about Nikon, it's like, well, you know, there's only three choices, really, to me anyway, and I never talk about dinky Nikons. There's the Nikon D7200 used, you know, best entry-level camera. You know, I know there's cheaper junk, 5000 series, 3000 series. I never talk about those damn cameras. So D7200, then a used Nikon D500 for an average of like $1,500. And the next step up from that, other than the Nikon D850, D4 is just still too obnoxiously priced. Once in a while people find steals on a Nikon D4. And it's a big heavy beast too. But the D500 is as epic as it ever was. Nothing has changed, and it's been quite a damn while. Quite a damn while since the Nikon D500 dropped. And recommendation, this camera's got legs. That's the reason why when it came out I told people this camera would be legendary for Nikon. And that is exactly what it is. So that's the updated Nikon reference buyer's guide from some guy that's owned every Nikon digital camera, and certainly, I mean, all the professional. I mean, I don't buy any of the D3000 series. I don't buy any of that junk. To me, that doesn't even count. D3000, D5000 series cameras, no. Something that'll actually drive a screw drive or D-series lens is the only thing I consider, which means like D7100 and above. So there you go. This camera doesn't get any love. I did get a free Nikon D500 that I fixed because it fell in a lake. Well, not a lake, a creek, excuse me. And that's the one that's filming now. I took it apart and fixed it. And then I got two other Nikon D500s. This one doesn't see any use, which is kind of stupid. And then there's another one that I've got that sees all the use in my back room back there. I'm taking this one on to shoot an event, outdoor event in a couple days. But the only reason I'm doing that is because of the incredible dynamic range on the D4 compared to anything else that I have. I'm not going to use medium format. I need something that's much faster than that. All medium format is slow anyway. I love it when people complain about medium format. Oh, it's slow. It's like, well, all medium format's slow. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. That's the Nikon D500. Nikon!